Hello, Texas Value supporters. This is Mary Elizabeth Counsel, Director of Government Relations for Texas Values. We're here with another great athlete outside the U.S. Supreme Court as they're hearing Hecox versus Little inside. We'll give you more updates as soon as they come outside from attorneys listening to the case. But in the meantime, we're speaking to women who have stood up for fairness in women's sports, all the way back to the early 2000s, when we first saw this becoming an issue. We have with us another great athlete, Alanna Smith. I actually remember being at an ADF meeting, hearing Alanna talk about her story, just the unfairness, how hard she worked to be so great at her sport and was forced to compete against males, coming from a long line of athletes in her family, just raw talent, even, in athletics, but being forced to compete against males. Alanna, can you tell us about your story and how you stood up for women's sports?
Yeah, so I had to race against biological males when I was in high school, my freshman year of high school, and at really big meets like the state championships and the New England championships, where I was pushed to get third place instead of second. And I know a lot of other girls obviously missed out on even advancing to those bigger meets. And in 2020, I remember Selena Soul had stood up and I saw what she was doing, and I'm very shy, so I was like, I don't know if I could do that. But after just feeling how unfair it was and how demoralizing it was, I knew that I had to stand up and protect women's sports, because I know I love to play sports and I know a lot of other girls do too.
Yeah, we really appreciate your efforts. I know a lot of the work that you and Selena did really inspired a lot of state laws to protect female sports. What would be your message to other girls whenever they face a situation like you? What should they do when that happens?
I would say, I know it's really scary, but I just know how frustrating it feels. And I mean, women's sports should stay women's sports. So I think it's really important that more females stand up for what's right, so that maybe a change can be made quicker, because it's already been, I stood up 6 years ago. So.
Yeah, and can you tell people a little bit about the sport that you do, how much work it takes to become, great in your field?
I run track and field. We train 6 days a week, hours a day. And even just half a second is a huge amount of time. So when these biological males are coming in and they're running seconds faster, it's so frustrating, because, we work so hard just to take off 100th of a second.
Yeah, that's so true. And so when you have a male who's stronger just by biology, it can really make a difference and really be unfair. But we're so grateful for you standing up, using your voice and your platform for other girls, especially K through 12 sports. As many of you know, Texas passed our Save Girls Sports Law in 2021 to protect K through 12 athletes, UIL competition, and we actually have our college bill that's in effect since 2023. But we're so thankful for some of the trailblazers like Alanna, like Selena, who have stood up for women's rights ever since back then. And it's been a long fight, but I know you're happy to finally see this at the U.S. Supreme Court.
Yeah, I'm so excited, and I hope women's sports can stay women's sports.
All right, well, thank you so much for all the work that you do. We'll have more updates coming up soon. We just heard from the Secretary of Education, but we'll have more, great things happening at this rally, and we are so happy to be standing up for women's sports outside of the U.S. Supreme Court, and that's how you stand up for faith, family, and freedom in the state of Texas.